you guys.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this, and excited to talk about Bring Music Home now that it's been a year that we've all lived through, and we have this big baby.
This beast.
I know, this beast of a book, 500 pages, 9 pounds, literally.
Weighs more than a baby.
Literally,
You guys have that in the
It's like a
description.
child.
Yeah, we do.
It's like warning.
It's warning.
Size of a
weighs
child.
more.
You gotta
Or
be very
as the size
responsible
of
to
a
buy
child.
that thing.
And yeah, I would love to start by having you guys introduce yourselves.
My name is Danny Gomez, and I sing and play guitar in Native Son.
My name is Mauricio Martinez. I play bass in Native Son.
My name's Jake Flum. I play guitar in Native Son.
Yeah.
My name is Nico Espinosa, and I play drums in Native Son.
Awesome. And you guys all know me, but I'm Amber Mundinger, co-founder of Bring Music Home. And in that book are 200 plus music venues, 375 individuals covered. So owners, operators, GMs, longstanding employees of live music venues, artists like yourselves. And we were able to cover 30 cities across the country, which was really amazing. So we were able to talk at Baby's All Right, actually around this time last year. And I'd love to hear from you and then from everybody, you know, what this year has been like for you, and also how things have evolved for you from that conversation when we were at the very beginning of the pandemic.
I think we were all still very confused at the beginning of it. At least, you know, kind of when we met to talk about all of this, we weren't even able to see each other back then. You know, I think the biggest light at the end of the tunnel for us right now is that we can get in the same room and play music again. We were playing a kind of like email tag, and it's not the same. You know, some of us are better at reading emails than others.
It's true.
Not to point out
Are you calling somebody out right now?
We were recording covers and sending the GarageBand session to each other
Amazing.
via email.
Well, yeah, that was one of the things we started like to, you know, keep ourselves kind of busy during this time with everything that was going on in the world and country, you know.
With the movement and the pandemic.
You were kind of just stuck in this whirlwind. It almost felt like a tornado, you know, like everyone's, you know, dragged along in the same, you know, chaos, and we're all going together through it. As Jake was saying, we started doing some covers of random songs, and then seeing what different charities and projects we could like donate each different song every week. We would do for, you know, like a month. And
That's amazing. What were some of the charities that you guys focused on?
We did
Border Angels was one of the ones we did.
Bushwick Ayuda Mutua.
Bushwick Ayuda Mutua.
Rain.
Rain.
And what was the other one? We did a fourth one, right?
Yeah, it was.
Magical. It was a magical charity that we feel very passionate about, and the passion is so deep that the name escapes us right now. But
Exactly.
we will,
You're going to hold it in secret.
Yeah.
right
It's only for
below
us.
here is where the name will appear. You can see right here the name of the charity.
And did you guys do any live streams or pre-recorded performances? Like, how was that for you guys during the past year?
I think we were very, you know, kind of. It's a tricky subject, you know, for us, and a very, you know, iffy thing. I think, you know, from the people that have seen us and know our music, a big part is, you know, that kind of social interaction and, you know, confrontation between the audience and when we're playing up there, you know, say it in the, you know, best way. But I think we feed off each other, so we always felt that it might be, you know, insincere and maybe not genuine to just do all these, you know, kind of live stream things like that. But as things progressed, you know, different opportunities came up for us to at least, you know, get in a room and play. We did something for the Broadway, which is, you know, a venue here in Brooklyn. Learning experience, doing all these things, right?
Definitely.
Definitely
I feel
just
like they
getting
will-
thrown into a big ocean and trying to figure out how to
You know,
swim.
how can you go past the screen?
Yeah. When was the first time you guys were back together? Like seeing each other in real life?
I think it was maybe rehearsing for that Broadway thing.
Maybe like June?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds right.
And I hadn't joined yet. I was just like, that was the first time too that I was gonna play with the guys too.
Cool.
Because I remember I saw Gomez for like a second, and he was like, yo, I haven't seen anyone in like
Yeah, I
2
lived
months.
alone for like 4 months, so I was losing it. But It's okay. Still here.
I got coffee from Mo's job, and he like put it on the sidewalk, and I like walked and picked it up, and like
We just talked
that.
for like, like 3 feet away from each other. You're like,
he lives
yeah.
underneath the train, so we were just like
We had to
waiting for the train
wait every
go
like 3
by.
minutes to keep talking.
I love that. What are some of the venues, like being that we're talking about Bring Music Home, like what are some of the venues that you really look forward to playing in the near future? Like what's a favorite venue for each of you guys and one that you can't wait to be back in?
I think for me is Babies Are Right. Since I moved to New
Yeah,
York,
same. I
Babies
was gonna
has
say,
always been like the spot.
Yeah.
Like when that was like my second show in New York City when I moved here, so I was like here, like this is the spot, this is a venue.
Yeah, I feel like Babies has never really changed what their vibe is or their mission and so forth. I feel, from the first time I walked in there, either sneaking in or with a fake ID to now going in legally. I feel like it's still the same, the same vibe. I get it when I walk in. It's still, hasn't changed its ethos.
They still let you in.
They still let me in.
If a show was cool, it was happening at Babies.
Yeah.
And you get kicked out, but the same person always. So
And they just do fun stuff like that. Have like, somebody just played, your favorite band just played Colbert or something, and then they're gonna do a show at 3 a.m. randomly last minute at Babies. And it's like,
So good.
no other
just-
places
yeah.
were really doing that kind of stuff.
That was the last place that you guys played, right? Or one of the last
In New
places. Yeah. in New York.
Yeah.
yeah,
Whoa.
that was
Yeah.
the last New York show. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my first venue I ever played when I moved to New York. Was
Yeah.
Babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like my first welcome to New York was playing Babies.
So sick.
It's a good one. How do you feel like this past year has, obviously like talking about passing emails back and forth, like sending each other like GarageBand files, like how do you feel like this has like inspired you in some ways creatively, or, what are the challenges that you've gotten through this past year that you think have made you better as a band, as an artist?
I think maybe the insecurities, we all had going into the pandemic, be it a musician or any kind of artist or individual in general, I think like has washed away and sort of, become a sense of empowerment. Living through that collective trauma and, gaining what, like I think we can all say we walk out of this better musicians than we stepped into this.
Yes. Yeah, because you look for different alternatives to like stay busy and keep even practicing your instrument. So you just gotta keep on going and gotta be more persistent about it.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I feel like in the music world and the world at large, everybody in society was constantly in different places in life, going through a different experience or at a different moment in their growth. When this is all finally done, we will, maybe for the first time ever as humanity, be in the same place and coming out of the same experience.
It's the first time for everyone.
I feel like we're on the precipice of like a whole, like a bonding moment, just unilaterally.
It's like the great level set.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
a hard reset.
everyone's been forced alone with their thoughts for a long time, so I'd like to think we'd all come out better from it.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, I feel like even just to mentally to like keep yourself going, to like figure that out the past like year.
I stopped
Also-
talking to myself.
Why?
Yeah, it's true, actually. Why?
Seriously. Also, like, I know when we were talking at Babies, we talked a lot about the fact that the government really hasn't, here in the U.S., appreciated the arts or supported creatives in, a major way. Obviously with the Save Our Stages Act passing for venues, that's an amazing thing. But what are your viewpoints on that? Or has that changed? Do you think that things have improved, or do you think that they've stayed the same across this year? Do you think there's a different appreciation now?
I think as a lot of things, we got short-term memory in society. I feel like it was, a thing talked about. And as you were saying, like, sure, like, the act got passed and things like that.
But it kind of took a while to
well, that's
pass,
what I was going to
though.
say. It's
like,
interesting that those things didn't happen until, there's a lot of, different political changes that were made, that shouldn't have gotten to that point. But I still think there's different ways that it can be collaborated and helped on, and still a structure built for a future where you do have these economic collapses. How do you prevent a sector from society of not being forgotten and left behind?
For sure. Yeah.
I grew up in a very DIY music community, and I was talking about this last night with someone about how the government's involvement in the pandemic and issuing out relief in a manner of their choosing, and there are already being, as you said, sort of a forgetfulness of the arts. From my background as a kid playing in like DIY venues, it's like, if we had the legal ability to just put on a show ourselves,
we don't need them.
This entire production was put on by people who were doing it themselves. We made sure people were tested, temperature checks, standing 6 feet apart, wearing masks. Like, it's possible for people to be able to continue the arts on their own responsibly. The government's involvement in it is just a massive obstacle into being able to continue on what we all need to live. It's a massive
it's almost like you're
part of
pushed to a
our
point of
identity.
survival that you gotta just improvise.
Do it.
I'm holding a book that was heavier than I was when I was born, full of people whose entire, not just livelihood, but identity and worldview was put on an immediate and indefinite hold, and with no plan and no real idea of when it would return, if it would return, and how it
Right.
would be when it came
Like,
back.
did you think we were gonna get there?
I knew we were gonna get there. I didn't think. I don't know if it was. I don't think I ever imagined the depth or the size that this book would become. And we could have just kept going.
And
I
seeing
mean,
more and more how it affects
yeah.
people.
Oh,
the
totally.
more you were,
Yeah, and the more we were having conversations, over the course of, 7+ months, like there were so many threads of, obviously similar storytelling, but also just watching how it was getting more desperate too. Because to your point, these are people, we're all in this industry that love what we do. Many people especially that work in venues, like they don't do it to get rich.
Right.
They love what they do. Like, that's not just their job, it's their livelihood. It's like what they care about, their passion. And so I think as we saw things not happening and, and progressing positively with anything passing, it just felt like it got very desperate for a little bit. And now I think, it's still hard. I mean, I think it was April 7th that people could finally apply to even get some of this funding for venues. So that's crazy in and of itself that this passed in December.
Right.
And that, it's 4 months later. So.
I think it's shown people too, it's just, it's not only the musicians or the, I think the people that work in the arts is a much bigger community that this has shed a light upon that, maybe some other people, forget to acknowledge sometimes.
Yeah. I also think like what I saw is just local community and how, I think especially like in New York, you really realize like how your local neighborhood, the people around you are so important, your community in general. And I think this just drove home so much the idea of we have to start local, we have to care for our institutions. Like Baby's All Right is a cultural institution, like we have to support that and, as many ways as we possibly can to really foster our own communities. And, I think there were so many innovative things that you saw communities and fans doing. I don't know if you guys saw things that you thought were, really interesting, like from venues or from your fans supporting you, that you'd want to talk about.
Sure. I mean, Zebulon in Los Angeles did some filmed in an empty room last summer it felt like a gift to be able to see something like that at a time where things were very confusing and we were ordering groceries and not sure when, I was trying to wake up as early as possible to order Cheez-Its from Target, you know what I mean? Something like that was really inspiring and I think kicked off a lot of then what we as a band and we as a community wanted to do reactively and do something similar, or okay, there's a way that we can accomplish something within the confines of what's going on. I played in a band that just performed on a roof one day for fun.
Yeah, I mean, being able to do this right now, it's just euphoric for me. Like, it's just been so long since I was on stage, since the last time with my other projects. And being able to just, like, have this opportunity to, like, do what I love to do, it's just, like, beyond, like, anything we ever did so far. Because, like, we've been just practicing, getting tighter and getting to know each other more, but it's nothing like being able to play in front of people or, like, for, anyone.
Yeah, the human aspect, I think that's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
you know, that I've learned from my isolation.
And from talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about when you guys do get on stage? What do you, like, what's that going to be like? I mean, what are you...
Since I was a
How are you
young boy.
The best nonverbal
How do we
communication.
start this?
Since I was a young boy, I've always wanted to be in Led Zeppelin. And in Led Zeppelin's song Rock and Roll, they say, it's been a long time since I've rock and rolled, and that is not how I wanted to feel like I was connected to Led Zeppelin. But at least now I have a way in. And when we finally get to play on stage, I'm going to feel a full circle moment of my youth.
Yeah.
Feeling like I've got something in common with Led Zeppelin.
No, exactly. It's like being back to feeling who I am. Like, just being on stage again, it just feels like, I feel like a normal, you know? It's kind of weird. It's just like I'm centered.
It feels right when everything kind of goes blank.
Yeah.
You know, when you're playing a show and, you know, with the actual people there's, you know, that kind of sense of timelessness where the clock kind of stops and there's a beginning and end and the in-between is a haze. And I think if you did it that way, then you did right.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like fans are just going to go insane. Everybody just wants to rage a little bit.
Yeah.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go insane. So I don't know
Kind
what
of
anyone else
maxed out.
is gonna do.
Yeah.
I
I don't know if places want that to happen at our shows from
Yeah.
previous experiences.
Well, I guess my last question would be, how do you think for each of you this year has changed you, and what will you carry forward? And then I guess also for you guys as a band collectively.
Mr. Espinosa?
Oh, well, for me, it was literally.
Oh, he had a quick answer. That was quick.
Well, for me, it was the last year has changed a lot because I literally joined Native Son, and it was like, I always felt like it was a natural fit, so it was very cool. Like in the beginning of the pandemic, like Danny called me, he's like,
Yeah, I guess to answer your question, like
Yeah.
not, to, but like
So, yeah,
the
come on.
pandemic, to explain it all, I think also played an important role in us, you know, kind of figuring out who we are as, you know, as a band. You know, we literally got back from playing the Troubadour, and like 2 weeks later, you know, our drummer was like, yeah, I'm not really trying to be a musician. There's a pandemic going on in the world, and you know, amicably, we both went our separate ways, and you know, that kind of led us to, you know, solidifying what we see more being the band and things like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, so that completely changed my entire year. It was like the beginning of my year where the pandemic started was just like focus on this, so that I'm gonna carry that on, and I think also just try to meditate more and then be more at peace with a lot of things that's going on and just be grateful. I think that's what I'm gonna take moving forward, because like anything could be taken away at any moment.
Yep.
One of my last shows, watching them play live in New York, and then that was the last live show I saw. And then
Wow.
I'm just gonna be
Even then you were
grateful
with
for
us.
every moment I get to do it again, you know, so
Now it's full circle.
full circle.
For me personally, it's just an overwhelming amount of patience and understanding that out of completely nowhere, everything that you know could just vanish, and you may never get it back the way that it was, and appreciating every little thing as it's happening. I felt that before the pandemic, I was not even remotely as close to as present as I try to be now. You know, an interaction at a coffee shop sometimes is the high point of my day now, and appreciating those moments is something that will hopefully continue on throughout the rest of my life.
Yeah, same. I feel like through the pandemic, I just learned to realize that some people are not on the same page as us, and it's fine to not want to be like. There's some people like in every scene. There's people that do all kinds of stuff, and you could see it during the summer. Some people were like partying and like, you know, not caring too much, and you're like, we're trying our best to make this like happen as fast as we can. So like, yeah, it's just like try to grow as a person and be the best I can, do my part.
Yeah, I think it's really as simple as relating to everything that they've been saying, just trying to put out the best into the world every day. I think there's no need for any negative vibes anymore. I think once you've seen the world crash and burn, you might as well enjoy every single second you got.
Well, yeah, what is the point of a negative vibe anymore?
There's no point.
No.
There's no bad vibes in here anymore.
Yeah.
And I like good
No.
bad vibes, but not bad vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's the great level set.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
well, I can't wait to see you guys again in front of a crowd, and just really appreciate you guys taking the time and being a part of this. And as we continue to evolve what we're doing and tell the continued story of Bring Music Home and how venues start to open up and how touring comes back online, just really thankful for you guys.
And you promise we'll get to hang out. It won't take a
I
year.
swear, 100%.
Won't take a year.
Yeah,
It
let's
won't
hang out
take a year.
more than once a year, please.
Let's hang out maybe a couple times a month.
Get all the dogs together.
Yes, we'll have a dog party. Deal.
Exactly.
Dogs eating glizzies.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
For everything.
Shout out to
Yeah.
the K-Dog.
You won't Here's television news.